Talking transfers, it's John Gibbons in the bright Liverpool sunshine on the Liverpool pier head with Ian Doyle from the Liverpool Echo to talk about the latest Liverpool ins and outs and things like that. But Ian, thanks for coming on first of all, appreciate it. Nice to see you back here after we spent the last week or so in Singapore.
We did. My laptop spent a little bit longer in Singapore than it needed to. And thanks to you, it was retrieved because I can't remember what day it is, let alone where my laptop is. So thanks for that.
Oh, no, it's no problem. And because there is no such thing as a free lunch at the Anfield Wrap, obviously we roped you into this as penance. But appreciate it. But before we get into the Lavia stuff, that's the main news at the moment. So I want to talk a little bit about what happened over the last 24 hours with Mo Salah, because it was quite interesting. Not necessarily that he was linked away, because that can happen with players. There was a talk of a 60 million bid for Mo Salah coming in this summer. Now, I don't think you get Mo Salah's right foot for 60 million, never mind this left. But it was interesting that that his agent, Rami, who's, you know, he's quite forward every now and again, but they come out and sort of rebuff it and put it down, and that doesn't always happen. So I thought it was quite interesting to talk about that first, and you know, maybe why you felt that he needed to come out and say, listen, this is an ongoing, he's committed to Liverpool.
I think the whole thing about the Saudi Pro League is that it has caused a bit of disruption, not just in Liverpool or the Premier League, but just across Europe. You know, they've been taking players here, there and everywhere. Certainly players of a certain, should we say, age or demographic or that kind of thing. They're not picking up many 19-year-olds, let's put it that way. But with Salah, he's obviously such a big name in world football that it would be daft for them not to be linked with him. I mean, if they're bidding 250 million euros or pounds, what is it, for Kylian Mbappe, who did turn them down, obviously, then they're going to be looking at players like Mohamed Salah. So that, as you say, that wasn't a surprise that they were interested. But it was a little bit odd that his agent did come out and just basically slap them down almost instantly. I mean, without really knowing, my guess would be that he's probably just got a little bit fed up with this. You know, the season's starting in, was it 4 or 5 days? Doesn't need the disruption, doesn't need to be distracted by what's going on. And as he said, Rami said, his agent, that the fact that Salah signed a new deal last year, a long-term deal as well, suggests that he's committed to Liverpool, and that regardless of who it was that came in, whether it was Real Madrid, anybody, Saudi, any team, that he was going to be sticking with Liverpool. And you've seen his form in the summer. What was it, 7 assists, 2 goals in 5 games? He's still Liverpool's best player, and therefore their most important player. And I should say, 60 million. I mean, what were they attempting to achieve with that? It just seemed ridiculous. It's like if they'd have said 150 million, then Liverpool would probably think, but not for 60, no.
Yeah. I mean, you've probably seen more of him than anyone outside of the Liverpool squad. You went over to Germany, you know, for the game there, and I know did a couple of interviews with the players, and then obviously, as we just said, you went over to Singapore. So, like I say, outside of the first team squad, you've probably seen him more than anyone. But he looks so relaxed to me. He doesn't look like a man who's particularly concerned. Even the fact that Liverpool have dropped into the Europa League, you know, when you see his demeanour, you see him on the pitch, he doesn't look like a man who's agitating away.
I mean, you saw at the time when Liverpool were mathematically out of the Champions League, I think it was the Thursday before the last day of the season, and he was like saying that he was devastated and whatnot, and it was slightly surprising because everybody knew they weren't going to be in it, but he seemed to be taken aback. But since then, you know, there's been never any question over his commitment to Liverpool. As you say, in the summer, he's been very, very good. But what's interesting as well is that he's now part of the leadership group. You know, this leadership group that Liverpool have got with Jordan Henderson and James Milner both having gone. He's been promoted into that. And you can tell that he seems to like that extra responsibility. Certainly when dealing with the youngsters, he's got a lot of time for Harvey Elliott, for example, ever since he came. And you can already see as well that he's trying to have a bit of advice, a few words for Ben Doak. So overall, yeah, I mean, he now sees himself as, he's not just a Liverpool player, he's already a Liverpool legend, let's be honest about it. If he left tomorrow, he still would be. But he clearly thinks he's got a bit more work to do. And that work, you know what he's like. He'll be looking at those goal scoring records, he'll be looking there.
He likes the records, doesn't he? He loves them.
So he'll be looking at them. I don't think he's going to get as far as probably Ian Rush or anything like that. But if he can get up in the top 3, top 4, then he'll be like quite happy with that, because he's got all his medals as well. And he'll be thinking, with the players that Liverpool have got, hopefully, as we'll come on to in a minute, with a few more to come at least, certainly soon, that Liverpool could be challenging for honours again.
Well, let's talk about those ins then. Lavia is the one that is, you know, the strongest links. It is a bit crazy that the fact that, you know, these bids keep going in and then they're both immediately rejected and then immediately sort of put into the press. It's not usual. I saw Jamie Carragher tweeting that he felt that it was embarrassing. You know, Liverpool won't be enjoying this. They won't be enjoying how public it is. They like to do the deals quietly. You know, the ideal for them is that there's nothing happening and the next day it's sort of been announced.
YouTube Press the button, become a member of the Anfield Wrap from the heart of the city of Liverpool. The best way to enjoy all your Liverpool-based videos, everything you need, every single day. It is the Anfield Wrap.